I might keep moving on to Warren, who's our next presenter. So Warren, if you could introduce yourself, and you've got about 10 minutes or so to fill people in on what you're doing. Thanks. Warren, we're not hearing you. You're still muted, I think. My screen's showing you. Can you speak again?
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yep. That's great. I can hear you now and can see your screen. Thanks.
All right. I switch. I thought what I do with my time, I thought it would be short. And so I give a quick overview of Sitka Technology Group, what we're doing, and how it views Miradi and what I call the Miradi ecosystem here. So this first page of my PDFs gives you a context. We're up in Northwest Oregon in Portland. In fact, we're in the middle of downtown Portland, and this building over here, which used to be the biggest skyscraper in Portland, at least back in 1910, is where we reside. It doesn't look quite like this. Portland doesn't today, but we are on the 5th floor. The Sitka team is about 23 people, and the Miradi team is, I wonder if I can, I'm going to hide all these. Yeah. The Miradi team is 4 of us. Brian Knowles leads us, one of the 3 partners. Andy Phoenix, who actually is not in this building. He is in Belfast in Northern Ireland. He's our software architect, developer, and primary technical support, as well as a man of great business sensibilities. Warren Lockwood, who is me, has a history with Miradi before Miradi was a mere babe. I built the CAP workbook, which was sort of the precursor to Miradi, and have been involved in this space for over 15 years. And then Damon Knight, who is running this webinar, is part of our team as well. We'll start with our view of the Miradi ecosystem. Would start with, I would think, this Miradi.org. It was a website that existed before Sitka. Its main role is to provide information, news, and guidance, to help manage subscriptions, and to offer a place to download Miradi in its various forms, whether it's for the Mac or for PC or for Linux, and language packs for Miradi. The new site, which we built, replacing the old one to provide better management of subscriptions, especially. It's a year old now, and we already have 2,200 users on it and over 4,600 downloads. Backing up a little, to get to Miradi.org, we have a shared account management system, which is behind the curtain for you generally, but it does support multiple web applications, including Miradi and Miradi Share, and in fact, they are the big players. They bring the most number of users and organizations to our shared account management. And I bring it up because it does take a good bit of Andy's time to make sure that that's working in concert with Miradi.org and MiradiShare.org. And then over on the right, Miradi Desktop, which you're all well aware of, that has many facets to it. The views of diagrams and various tables and plans, strategic plan and work plan. We took responsibility in the summer of 2014 from Benetech for Miradi. We've done a couple of releases which we consider relatively minor but necessary to get going and get things better integrated with Miradi.org and fixing bugs. And we also added one feature of biophysical factors in the latest release. The next release is our most ambitious. It is a work planning focus and driven largely by the use of the work plan by Bush Heritage Australia, and the future use of it by U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. So they're guiding a lot of our development. Before I go on to talk a little more about detail of the work plan, I just wanted to highlight that this Miradi.org site, we believe, is the best place for this user group to make it an active home for all their information, news, communication. Below, or using to draw from the topic of this webinar, is getting information out of Miradi. There are a lot of systems that use and display Miradi data. Some of them in the past, Compro, rest in peace, it's gone, but it had over 600 projects in it when it was decommissioned, and all those projects are now in Miradi Share. Miradi Dashboard was an early Sitka pilot project to show what was possible in displaying objective measurements and indicator measurements online. The Miradi Companion Tool, which you just heard about. There are a lot of organization websites and planning and budgeting systems that are drawing from Miradi. Bush Heritage uses XSL style sheets a lot to build their scorecards and other more visually attractive pages. And then David Berg, the super volunteer of Nature Conservancy, built a Miradi database largely to serve Bush Heritage Australia's needs to look at multiple projects at once. All of these systems draw from Miradi projects. Miradi Share has already contributed to letting us obsolete a couple of these, and our hope in the future is that we'll be the one-stop shop for all the needs of drawing from Miradi Desktop. Our focus is really on program-based projects. So the part of the problem or limitations, if you will, of other systems that use and display Miradi data is that they were using one project at a time. Our focus has been to serve the organization that's using multiple projects and needs program-specific classifications to help them slice and dice the data that's in Miradi and look at, for example, the Fox control strategies, indicators, objectives, and progress, whether that the foxes are in West Australia or East Australia or North Australia, so forth. So those kind of things, Miradi Share is well designed to support. Our first project was put into Miradi Share in the summer of 2013. There's, as you can see, over 1,324 projects. About 700 of those projects are TNC's active ones plus Compro projects, and the other over 600 projects are other organizations. There are 24 programs. One of those programs is CAMEL, which is the Conservation Actions and Measures Library. It provides archetypal diagrams, results chains, and conceptual models for people to borrow freely from. We also have a community library, which is a type of a program. Anybody can use it to put a project or two. It does have some restrictions. The program-based taxonomies are not available in the community library. special redaction capabilities if you need privacy and various parts of your data are not available in the community library. But it is there, and it has dozens of projects. And there are about 1,300 users using MiradiShare.org as well. Support is primarily Sitka and Foundations of Success. Foundations of Success, including Felix and Caroline, who's listening. They do the support for Miradi.org and for Miradi Desktop, primarily on issues of how does it work, and how do I do this, and how do I do that, and what's the best way to use Miradi. Sitka is doing the technical support for both Miradi.org and the Miradi Desktop. And then we also do Miradi Share support, and in Miradi Share, I'm pretty much a content expert on Miradi Share, so I often help people on what you can do in Miradi Share. For example, a couple days ago, someone in Puget Sound Partnership said, I've got 40 different projects, and each one has a half a dozen results chains, and all I want is the title of each results chain in a list. What do I do? And I could give it to her in 10 minutes. So it was that kind of thing is possible by keeping in touch with me. In development, of course, that's Sitka exclusively, and we kind of think of it in terms of website development, which is Miradi.org, MiradiShare.org, and the Share account management, and desktop development, which is Miradi application, which we often call Miradi Desktop so that we know what we're referring to. This Transifex language translation is a tool online which we use to provide the language packs for Miradi. Let's see. There are plenty of, we have not done development work on MiradiShare.org for the last 4 months, a little more than that, because we've been exclusively working on the Miradi Desktop, plus doing some work on Miradi.org, and indeed in account share management. Again, Andy Phoenix covers everything in this world, and Andy works sequentially. So we try to focus on one application at a time, and so Miradi Share has taken a rest for a while. We do have hopes to get back into Miradi Share, certain plans to in the next month or two, where we'll spend more time adding online editing, and also in the future we're looking at geospatial analysis capabilities. The concept of an easy on-ramp where people can use Miradi Share without building diagrams in Miradi, and many other things.
That's great, Warren. Are you
out of time?
Getting close to time. Have you got much more? Another minute or so?
This is a list of stuff that's happening for our 4.4 release in Miradi. Excuse me, in Miradi. I thought I had a. No, I didn't. In our Miradi work, we've been doing. There'll be multiple bug fixes. We've got a new high-level plan. We have split the work, the who and when, into 2 capabilities. So when it comes out, you will see 2 columns called high-level planning, and which is distinct from the work unit assignment. The purpose of doing this was to liberate the planning that was done at the high level from some kind of constraints that happened by having them tied into the assignments. So when you use this who and when button, and you can use this in the diagram field, it is always referring to, or will be with the new release, to this high-level planning, and it will, and the benefit will be it will always work. In today's version of Miradi, it's disabled its various junctures if you've already used it and it's tied into the assignments. So that's one new thing. Another thing you'll notice is that activities can be both, they can be both monitoring activities or action activities, and it's purely a checkbox which will change the color, yellow and purple. This is, we believe, in the building of the work plan, we feel that it's monitoring activities is a better way to go forward rather than the current concept of indicators and methods. We've created two tabs in the work plan. The old one, which will show things as you've seen it in the past, including the indicators and methods, and a new shared work plan, which is the one which we will be working with in the interaction with Miradi Share. There's lots more to talk about in this, but I think my time's up, so I will stop.
Thanks, Warren. So maybe in the second session, we could dig more into this 4.4 in a bit more detail and put that video up for people to see, because we're pretty much out of time.